Hello, everybody. It's Danielle from Wusa Holistic Health Coaching, back again to talk all things mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Today, we're actually going to focus more on something physical. And thanks to a client, I appreciate that you are watching the content, paying attention. And something that I said the other day grabbed her attention. And what it was is I said, did you know that I used to have shaky hands and high blood pressure? It was the video I did about entering into my soft era. Well, she asked, would you please talk about exactly what you did to get rid of high blood pressure? And I'd be happy to. I actually had gotten to the point where I had to go on high blood pressure medication, something that I absolutely was not happy about. But what are you gonna do? You can't risk having a stroke or something, so the doctor, as well as my kinesiologist, anybody in my holistic space, they were all in agreement that it was time for me to do something drastic. So I want us to first think about the words high blood and pressure. And the other word for high blood pressure is hypertension. We can actually take a whole lot of clues just from looking at the words themselves. So when I think of the word high, the first thing as it pertains to something negative with your health, I think of high strung. People that can't relax, they have to be in control. They're always like freaking out if things aren't going their way or if everything isn't just so. I think of perfectionism and, if things are not right on their timeline, then they're gonna just kind of unravel. That will definitely give somebody high blood pressure. I'll tell you, one of the first clients that ever hired me to help them with high blood pressure was somebody that was around 120 pounds. She was itty bitty, she was young, she was around, I think she said she was around 33. And it was really more of, she was just wound way too tight. And once we were able to get the high pressure living taken care of and the hyperness and the tension, and having her living in a pressure cooker, the blood pressure went away. And then, of course, dealing with whatever traumas were coming up from the past that were contributing to those feelings, those emotions that got stuck on her. So high blood pressure isn't just because maybe somebody's overweight, although taking some weight off does help. I'll talk about that in a second. But think about how many people are living their day under pressure. There are certain career paths and job titles that it's like it's hand in hand. Pressure and being tense, it goes literally with the job that you do. So you have to think about that sometimes, even when you're considering what point are you in life? Are you able to be in a pressure cooker? Or have you been under so much stress for so long, your health is starting to go south? You're seeing the body malfunctioning, which is, again, communication that it's time to make a major change. If you've got blood pressure letting you know, or hypertension, that your body needs the very opposite of pressure and the very opposite of tension and the very opposite of hyper, it's time to do a complete lifestyle change. Mentally, emotional, and physically, we have to get that under control and start doing the soft living. Start paying attention to feminine energy, paying attention to stop rushing and multitasking and being micromanaging other people and trying to control everybody around you. Those things had to change for me. I had to completely change my pace. I had to completely change something that might surprise you that I have another video on if you want to go back and watch that one. Something that was causing me to feel like I was in a pressure cooker was people pleasing. The disease to please. I'm running around, making decisions, doing all these things to make somebody else happy, trying to change, trying to make my square peg personality fit into someone else's, fit in a round hole that I didn't belong in. And I just couldn't do it. I am me. I can't be anybody but me. And every time I tried to be somebody but me, it made me feel like I was in a pressure cooker. It was tense. It was rough. I was stressed all the time. It contributed to high blood pressure. But again, who allowed it? I was the one that didn't have the boundaries. I was the one that wasn't checking in with myself to say, am I even doing this because it's going to energize me, or is this straining and draining and depleting me again, leading to more high blood pressure? So keep in mind, the words give us clues. Tap in and find out if half the stuff you're doing is too high of pressure. It's too much tension. It's too much hyperactivity. Slow down, calm down, breathe, get soft. Get in your feminine energy if you're a woman. All right. The other thing that I did, now this might seem drastic, but that doesn't mean that we can't incorporate this into our lives wherever we live on the planet. But leaving the country helped me a great deal. Now, I'm going to talk about the specifics. I went to a place that was so holistic, and I did that with intention because I was in the middle of writing my Wusa book on holistic living and how it can actually make you feel 20 years younger. So I wanted to go someplace that was a very gentle life. It was in the jungle. It was surrounded by the mountains. It was on the ocean. So you didn't even have to choose. You had the sand, you had the water, you had the jungle, you had the mountains, you had all this beauty, bougainvilleas growing wild all around you. It was just beautiful. And the pace was soft and the food was natural. They're not going and buying chemicals to spray on stuff to make it last longer. I didn't even know an avocado was supposed to shrivel up and die in a couple days. That's what it's supposed to do. I didn't know that our food wasn't supposed to last a week sitting on the counter. It's not supposed to. And so that's another thing that contributes to people's health is the food is just so far away from its natural state. You can't really use the nutrients the way you're supposed to and burn through it the way you're supposed to. So I was able to burn the food that I ate much more than when I was in the States. So I ate much more when I was living in Mexico than I ever could eat here because my body could burn it because it knew what to do. It went in my body and all the micronutrients and the macronutrients, they had a job to do, they did it and that was it. Well, the other thing is I deliberately chose to go there and not have a car. So in the event that things were too far, yes, I would get an Uber. Every once in a blue moon, I might even jump on a bus. But the natural movement of carrying your groceries back and forth to the store, finding beautiful places to take walks in the parks, walking to a friend's house instead of jumping in a car, that added up. And it ended up that before I even knew what had happened, I had dropped 20 pounds. I didn't even know it. I have a little bit of body dysmorphia anywhere where I can't really tell what I look like unless I see myself in photos. It's kind of crazy. But I didn't realize that 20 pounds had just kind of went off of me. And this is while eating quesadillas and drinking margaritas. It didn't matter because the lifestyle was, it was just healthy. The food was natural and my body knew what to do with it. So real whole food, tons of extra movement, gentle living, get off this high pressure living, going too fast, piling too much on your to-do list every single day, people pleasing your life away, not even living authentically to what it is what you want and what makes you happy. All of those things together erased high blood pressure and erased hypertension. Now, how do I know that was what did it? Well, when my client texted me and asked me would I make a video about it, I did some testing. And I thought about how long ago, and I was right when I said it the other day that it was around 3 years. I was exactly right on that I had gotten rid of it 3 years ago. And I tested all the different ways that my life has changed since that time. And then I wrote them all down and I tested what things applied to the situation. And again, muscle testing is from applied kinesiology, something that I do with my one-on-one coaching clients. So I don't talk about that on this platform. However, if people think that there is enough interest, I would be happy to make maybe some separate digital products or videos or something that I can make available on my website. Just because out of fairness to people that are working with me one-on-one, there's just certain things that don't make sense for me to do on this platform, and I am not comfortable with it. So I will tell you that I was able to test the way that I teach all of my clients to test and pinpoint exactly what made the biggest impact. And it was all of those things together. So it was my emotional state. It was my mentality. It was my physicality. and just being so much more connected to myself and understanding what makes me thrive and what makes me go downhill, and then honoring what my needs were so that I could continue to not have to take blood pressure medication or not even think about blood pressure because I'm not in a pressure cooker like I used to be. So I hope that helps. Please let me know if you have any other questions, if you've seen any of my other videos and something kind of jogged more questions when you heard me say something and you want me to expound on it, you want me to talk more about it, please leave it in the comments. I'm happy to address anything that you hear me say. But changing our lifestyle is important. Now, I gotta tell you, I did come back to the United States, but I still don't have high blood pressure. There are ways to eat and get more movement without leaving the country, okay? So you may have to be a bit more careful when you're buying your groceries. Maybe you do have to read more labels and find out what is in this food. Eating your food whole, a whole food, one ingredient, most of your food, eating it like that instead of prepackaged or things where you don't really know what else in it, things where you don't prepare, it yourself, so you have no idea what you're actually eating. All of those things really help, like eating an apple instead of a bag of apple chips out of a store that's got a bunch of weird ingredients in it. Your body doesn't know what to do with that stuff. It literally just sits in there and it's like, where do I go? What do I do? And so then you just start storing fat and storing whatever else, chemicals that could be causing sickness. And nobody needs that. So when you buy a sweet potato and then you make your whatever sweet potato fries, you know what it is. It's a sweet potato. You add your stuff to it. You know which clean ingredients went into that sweet potato fry. Your body knows what to do with that, okay? And the same applies to everything else. Stop buying things that are so processed and just full of all this random stuff, and then it goes into your body and your body's super confused, and then illness and disease can start forming. We don't want that. So no matter where you live, some resources that I think are really, really great, Butcher Box, where you get your organic meats shipped right to your house, clean, organic, same Thrive Market, great prices, by the way. Another wonderful online grocery store resource. There's a bunch of them out there. I used to belong to something called Bloomin' Prairie, where you could order all these wonderful health products and they bring the truck. They have another one called Azure Standard. You can join that. So just do your research and find out things that you can do to make eating well easier to support things like your blood pressure or other health concerns that you may have, high cholesterol, eating in a way that your food's not sprayed with stuff or it's full of hormones and other chemicals to make it more shelf stable. We don't need that, at least the majority of the time. I kind of try to do like an 80-20, because especially living here, it's just, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I never do this or I never do that. It's not true. But it is much easier if you have those resources where you can find cleaner ingredients and products delivered right to your door. So I hope that does help if anybody's dealing with some health concerns like that and those tips. But keep in mind, just the words themselves and what the disease or condition is called gave us some pretty good clues. Get away from those high pressure situations. Get away from those hypertense situations. Stop people pleasing. You might need to drop some weight and move your body. Motion is lotion. Keep moving. The main thing I was doing was just walking all over the place, hauling my own groceries, my bags and stuff. And it worked. And I didn't ever even think about dieting or restricting calories or none of that stuff. I ate, like I said, more than I ever do here, and I didn't even need to think about it. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today. I hope that was helpful. If you like this information, please give me a like and a subscribe. Share this information with your friends and tell them about this little community that we're building, this safe space to talk about our health. And hopefully I will get back with you tomorrow. And if there's a specific topic that you want to address, please leave it in the comments. Tell me where you're from and how you're feeling about the content so far. And I will see you soon. Woosah. Have a great night.